Today I will be boosting my subscribers' gaming PC builds, so if you're looking to buy a PC build and you have questions whether or not this is the right PC for you, because maybe you don't know if those components are going to be compatible or maybe they are not going to achieve your FPS goal, then these type of videos are going to be for you. If you want to be featured in the next video, follow the instructions in the description or in the comment section. This is a video idea from Jason from the PC Builder YouTube channel, so big shout out to him. With that being said, let's start. So we have Dan over here who sent me his PC part picker list and told me I want to play multiplayer games like Fortnite, Warzone and Apex, 1080p 240Hz, maximum budget is $900 and minimum is $750. I'm building my first PC. Let's see what you got. Okay, so this PC is actually good, but it's not great. If you put this PC together, it's going to work well and you will be able to achieve around 200 plus FPS on average in Fortnite and the games that you were talking about because you did a good job with many of these components, but I would change some of them in order to achieve those 240 plus FPS on average consistently. Let's start with the price, $835. That's a great price because you were between $750 and $900, so that's a good thing. You went with a Ryzen 5 5600, which is going to be enough to play this type of shooters at 200 plus FPS on average, but if you're going to play at 1080p, the CPU matters, so I would recommend going with something better, especially if you want to be hitting 240 FPS on average consistently to get a 240Hz monitor. Then with the motherboard, you picked the Gigabyte B550M Aorus Elite, which in my opinion is a great motherboard, but $130 is a bit more expensive than I would like it to be, and the reason why is because you could be getting a better CPU, which is more important, and a cheaper motherboard that has enough features for gaming. Then you went with 16 gigs of RAM, same thing, is good but not great. For gaming, for the most part, it's going to be fine, but if you want to do streaming, content creation on the side, 32 gigs of RAM is going to be recommended, especially for games like Fortnite. Then for the storage, you did an amazing job here going with the Crucial P3 Plus 1TB of Gen 4 SSD because SSDs right now are overpriced and the cheapest one I found was for like $55, so this one is $58 and is an amazing drive, amazing speeds, and even though for gaming this doesn't matter as much, if you decide to do content creation and you have to transfer heavy files, the speeds are going to matter. Then for the graphics card, you went with the RTX 4060, great job here, even though I don't love the price for the RTX 4060. One of your favorite games is Fortnite and Nvidia GPUs are just better than AMD ones when it comes to Fortnite. If you don't prioritize Fortnite, you may want to consider AMD GPUs, which are better in terms of price to performance, especially at this price level, but since you mentioned Fortnite, you went with the RTX 4060, that's great. Then for the case, and this is where I don't like the pick, the Linear Langcool 205M. Don't get me wrong, this is an amazing case, great airflow, but you get two pre-installed fans, so you most likely will have to buy an extra fan for the exhaust one and it's $90. I think for $90 you can get a much better case or get a cheaper case and use that money to buy a better CPU, which is going to give you more performance, and that's the most important part at the end of the day. And then for the power supply, same thing, this is a 650 watt 80 plus bronze power supply from Corsair, CT rated unit for $70. This is more on the expensive side and it's actually an aqua price because for just $20 more you can get an 80 rated PSU, and also for $20 less you can get a power supply that's going to be the same quality. Anyway, for $835, as I said before, this is not a bad system, but I think we can do much better for the price. So I made two builds for you, one that's cheaper than the one that you had and is better in terms of price to performance, and the other one that's a bit more expensive, but in my opinion is worth it if you want to achieve 240 plus FPS on average all the time. The first one that we are going to talk about is a cheaper one, so $15 less than you were spending before. We have the Ryzen 7 5700X, which is faster than the Ryzen 5 5600 and is also very power efficient. We have an aftermarket CPU cooler in the ID Cooling SE214XT. Then for the motherboard, we have the ASRock B550M Pro 4, which is worse than your motherboard but is much cheaper and it has enough features for gaming, so you don't have to worry about that. And then for the memory kit, we have 32 gigs of RAM instead of 16 gigs, which, as I said before, is going to be ideal at this price point. Then I kept your 1TB Gen 4 SSD because that was a great pick. I kept the RTX 4060, but I went with the MSI Ventus black model because it's a bit cheaper right now. And don't worry, because the difference between models will not affect gaming performance. Then for the case, I went with the Montec Air 100 ARGB Micro ATX mid-tower case. I've been recommending this case a lot because it has 4 pre-installed fans, so you don't have to install more fans, and it's $60. And trust me, the airflow here is going to be amazing, and you are spending $20 less than the one that you were going with and getting more fans. And last but not least, for the power supply, I picked the Apivia Prestige 600 watt 80 plus gold power supply, which fits the requirements in terms of wattage, and it's also CTO rated, so it's going to be the same quality as the same as you were going with for about $20 cheaper. That's how you can get a cheaper PC that's going to deliver better performance, especially in high CPU demanding scenarios such as Fortnite low settings. And then the other build is more expensive, really close to $900, but you said your maximum budget was $900, so I would highly recommend you going with this one, where you get the Ryzen 5 7600, a B650M Pro RS motherboard, and 32 gigs of DDR5 memory at 6000 MHz CL30 timings, which is very high speed for the memory kit. The most important part here is that you get the Ryzen 5 7600, and it's going to be amazing in terms of gaming performance in multiplayer games on low settings. Here you will achieve over 240 plus FPS on average, and even over 360 plus FPS on average in most cases, of course in low settings. But the thing here that I do like compared to your PC is that you are on the AM5 platform here, which means that down the line, if you want to upgrade your CPU to something like the Ryzen 7 7700 or Ryzen 7 7800 X3D, which is the fastest CPU on the market right now, you can do it without having to change the motherboard. Or maybe you want to upgrade to a newer CPU from AMD down the line that they are going to release. In that case, you can also upgrade without having to change the motherboard, which is amazing because you have more options in the future to upgrade from. The rest of the components are the same as the ones I picked for you for the cheaper system, but the total price is close to $900, and as I said before, in my opinion, it's worth buying this one because you have more CPU options to choose from in the future, you get DDR5 memory, and overall it's a faster PC, especially for the type of gaming that you want to do, which is 1080p low settings gaming, where the CPU is more important. And I didn't talk about the GPU as much because the 4060 is going to be enough for those type of games, but if you want to play high GPU demanding titles on a 15 game average at 1080p high to ultra settings on high demanding titles, the 4060 was able to average 90 FPS and over 60 FPS at 1440p. So you are getting a great GPU for 1080p gaming on high to ultra settings, even on any title. And if you want to upgrade to 1440p down the line, you can always use DLSS, which is the NVIDIA upscaler, and in my opinion, the best upscaler today. So I hope that you like what I did here for you, and I believe these two options are much better options than the one that you were going with. But your PC was not bad, which is something nice because mostly I get PCs that are terrible for the price, but you did an amazing job here. And if you want to get featured in the next one, as I said at the beginning, you have the instructions in the comment section and also in the description. But if you want to see the best PC builds for every budget and every resolution, you will have that video in the top right of the screen. Trust me, before building a system, I recommend you watching that one because you are going to get great value for the price that you are paying for each resolution. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.